This is House File 604 as amended with Senate Amendment 3155. This is the Senate Education Appropriations Budget, the higher education budget for the state of Iowa. The bill is amended, appropriates a total of $964.2 million from the general fund, and this funds the Department of the Blind, the College Student Aid Commission, the Department of Education, the Board of Regents for the fiscal year 2014, and is an increase of $103 million over FY13. To highlight the differences in the bill, basically we based this budget off of the governor's budget, and there are some increases, investments in education that we have done in this bill. I'll just highlight a very few of these, and then at that time, Madam President, I'd like to go to the amendment and then open it up for discussion. So at this time, we have an increase for the Department of the Blind of $500,000. As you move down to the Department of Education, we have an increase of $41.7 million. Among that are increases to the State Library of $500,000 and the State Enrich Iowa. This money goes to all of your local libraries in your community. We also then allot money for competency-based education that's being discussed in the Ed Reform Bill. Also, Jobs for America. We also place a line item for education reform. This line item may change as the conference committee does its work. We may have to revisit this, but we'll leave this sum in here at this amount of $8.5 million at this time. Also, then we place money in early literacy. This is a major difference between the Senate and the House, because last year under education reform, the reading programs in the state were not funded. And we believe that $12 million is a great investment in reading, in literacy in Iowa. Of that, I think we're going to see a proposal to earmark $2 million of that for the reading center that is wanted by the governor's office. We're fine with that. As we look at the Board of Regents, we have an increase of $28.5 million over FY13, and this, a major portion of this is $10 million for fund needed-based student financial aid at the universities. We also include in here a prohibition for the Board of Regents from using tuition dollars for any scholarship activities, and that effectively prohibits the Board of Regents from establishing any type of new tuition set-aside program. We should not be taking borrowed money from one class of students to give to other class of students, and so this is our attempt to address this. We also include money for the U of I Hygienic Laboratory of $866,000. Their request was given to us for this because of very much needed equipment updates at the Hygienic Laboratory. We were told that this would greatly enhance their efforts if we had a statewide epidemic that we would have to face and that they would have to deal with. We then have an across-the-board increase of 2.6% as requested by the Board of Regents for the University of Iowa, Iowa State University, and the University of Northern Iowa, with an additional $4 million as the second installment in a 3-year request from UNI. Bottom line then is a workforce training program, and this is probably our major difference of investment with this bill. It's a $31 million total funding package and $23 million over FY13. And in this, we have an opportunity to invest new funding in a statewide work-based learning network, of which we increase funding for our 260 C18A programs, pathways for academic career advancement, and finally, and I think this is probably one of the best things that we could do, my fellow senators, and that is $7.5 million for the adult literacy for the workforce program, so that we could take those folks, some almost 300,000 Iowans who do not currently have a GED or adult literacy, and bring them from welfare or low-wage minimum jobs to a skilled job, a paying job, and a participating member in the Iowa economy. I think this is one of the greatest things we could do in education reform this year from this body.